The LUMIX S9 is my current favourite camera. It's a small, full frame, little beast of a camera that I carry everywhere with me. I made a Reddit account recently just to connect with the LUMIX community, and one comment that I keep seeing popping up over there is that there's a real lack of small lenses to pair with this camera. So I decided to take that as a bit of a challenge and go on the hunt for a small, compact lens that would pair perfectly with my full frame LUMIX S9. Check it out. I have a few native LUMIX lenses, so let's start with those. This one here is the LUMIX 24 to 60mm f2.8. They just released that this year. For a zoom lens of this quality, it's nice and compact, but putting it on the S9, it's a bit too big for this camera to be carrying it around every day. Next up is the S series of prime lenses that LUMIX makes. So this one here is the 50mm f1.8 S series lens. They're great lenses, but again, I think just a bit too big to pair with the LUMIX S9. You know, you don't want to be carrying that around your shoulders all day, every day. It's just a little bit too big. Next up is Sigma, and this lens, this exact lens, is the one that basically lives on my LUMIX S9. It's the Sigma 45 f2.8 lens, and it's an absolute beast of a lens. It's built like a tank. It's really sharp, really fast. It's just such a great lens. But that being said, some people out there still think that this lens is too big to carry around attached to this camera, especially if you add the lens hood. The lens hood on the end of this lens adds another inch to the size. Sigma do make other lenses in this contemporary range for L-mount cameras. There's a 24 and a 35 and a 60 and a 90, and as far as I'm aware, the 45mm lens, this one here, is the smallest profiled lens. So I think the Sigma 45mm f2.8 lens is a great size for my LUMIX S9, but still some people out there don't agree. They think this is still too big, so let's see if we can get any smaller. The next option is to choose a third-party lens from, say, 7 Artisans or TT Artisan or something like that. They make lots of L-mount lenses, but the only downside to these is that most of them are manual focus. So you can get smaller lenses that are quite bright, but you'll have to manually focus with those lenses. In my opinion, if you're going down the manual focus route, you might as well just have more fun and buy vintage lenses off eBay. You'll get them for the same price as these modern manual focus lenses, but they'll have way more character, and you'll just have so much fun shooting with a vintage lens that's manual focus than a modern manual focus lens. I've been collecting vintage lenses for only a couple of years, so not very long, but my most recent collection is my M42 range of lenses, and my two favorite lenses in that collection to use with my LUMIX S9 are my Carl Zeiss Geneflectagon 35mm f2.4 lens. This lens is incredible, beautiful bokeh, wide open, really sharp, and you can focus super close with this lens. And then the other one is the crazy Helios 4.4. This is a 4.4M. I like it because it's got a clicky aperture, but I have a 4.42 as well, which is really nice. These Helios lenses produce crazy swirly bokeh when shot with wide open. I've had so much fun with this lens this year and can't wait to keep using this with my other cameras. So to compare the size between this vintage Helios lens and the Sigma lens, they're quite similar, but the Helios definitely has an advantage in size. But that being said, if you're going to adapt an old lens like this is a M42 mount, if you're going to adapt this lens, you'll need an adapter to be able to put it onto your LUMIX camera. So as you can see here, the M42 lens is a screw mount. So we just screw it on the adapter and it adds another inch. So that'll be the case with most vintage lenses like Minolta Record lenses or Canon FD lenses. They'll need an adapter this size. So I found myself on Earth's website. If you haven't heard of Earth, they're a really cool company that do all sorts of camera accessories. Every time you buy an item from them, they plant a tree or something. It's cool. All their packaging's all recyclable, all that jazz. I love the design of their products and I love the design of their packaging and everything. Earth's a really cool company. So I found myself on their website and I typed in L-mount adapters and I just scrolled down to see what the thinnest adapter would be. and I found this. So this is the adapter that I chose to buy from Earth, and it's an M39 to L mount adapter, which means on my L mount camera I can use this adapter to attach M39 lenses. But what is M39? Like my M42 lenses, M39 are screw mount lenses, but they're more commonly found in older rangefinder style lenses. There's loads of different variations of M39 lenses, but the ones that most interested me were the LTM lenses. LTM standing for Leica thread mount, or more commonly known as L39 lenses. So it turns out that these L39 lenses are pretty legendary, and after a bit of research, one in particular really stood out to me, and it's this one here. It's the Canon 35mm f1.8 LTM L39 lens, and look at the size of this little beauty. It's tiny, like it's actually tiny. Wait till you see what it looks like when it's on. Oh, isn't that just glorious? This lens is literally from like the 50s or something like that, but it feels like it was made for this camera. No one can argue that that profile is perfect, and this lens is bright. It's 1.8 at its widest aperture. It's tiny because the lens itself is small and the adapter's small. It's full of character when shot with wide open. It's really sharp when stopped down, like 5.6 and up, like super sharp lens, but still with loads of character in the corners. You could definitely have this camera, this setup, this exact setup, strapped around you, carry it with you everywhere you go, and get gorgeous full frame images with this brilliant little setup. This is just one of the L39 lenses, the Canon 35 1.8, but there are so many other LTM, L39, even M39 lenses out there that I think are equally as small as this, that can be paired perfectly with the LUMIX S9. So my plan for the rest of today is to take out my LUMIX S9 with this Canon 35mm f1.8 LTM L39 lens. It's raining at the minute, but I live in Ireland, so that's not going to stop me, and take some example images with this setup to show you how great it really is. Anyway, enough talking, let's go and test this thing out. Maybe when people are commenting that there's no compact lenses for the LUMIX S9, they aren't going down the vintage lens route, but I think more people should, because I absolutely love shooting with vintage lenses. And now that I've got a vintage lens that's like small enough to live on my LUMIX S9, this thing's never coming off. Like, I'm gonna shoot so much with this setup. I think it's perfect.